Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with the full crew today.
I'm Nate.
I'm Dave.
I'm Ryan.
And we got a GM 911 from Billy Hart. He's doing a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game using the Dresden verse, but it sounds like it's a completely fantasy game. And he's overpowered his players. He's got a villain set up, and he thinks the players are no longer taking the villain as a serious threat. And he's got a lot of ideas of how to, fix the problems, but not enough to really, consider that, Marcone needs to be a substantial threat to the players.
Well, and also too, so it's a little harder for me because I'm not as well versed in the Dresden verse. Like I've read some of them, but not nearly as much material as you guys. So you have to put yourself in the mind space too of WWMD. What would Marcone do? Right. So that's also very important.
So, I don't think the setting is all that relevant. The crux of the matter is that he wants the players to respect the villain. They don't. So the villain has to earn or take the respect somehow. Right. So one, seed the campaign with NPCs that your characters genuinely like. And then start killing them. But you have to make sure they like them enough first.
Right.
Maybe graphically in front of them.
Or like a hostage sort of situation.
Yeah,
where they have to like rescue the person.
Or or the other thing is, a Marcone type villain. It's like playing chess with a master chess player. So he's thinking 5-10 moves ahead. So like maybe like there's some, you could have things go down where even though the players win, it almost looks like they're losing. Like you have to have them get manipulated by this bad guy in order to do what he wants them to do. And other times when they think they're just going to bully or threaten him, he's got to have contingencies plans. Well, yeah, you can do that, but here's the consequences of your actions.
Also, to more D&D-ify this, like I was just thinking, because all right, so he's just a normal guy that's super bright. I don't know what like class levels he's given to Marcone because Billy Hart didn't specify that. But like, what if he's a dragon with like just a thing that lets him like alter himself, and like every once in a while like shadows play on the wall, like his shadow, and it's like, oh, why does it kind of look draconic? Yeah.
Well, you could absolutely do it.
I mean, just to like bring a little more of that like the Dungeons and Dragons into it. That I know he's Dresdenifying it, but like because Marcone's always described with having those piercing green eyes.
Yes.
So like I could see like a draconic figure sort of having that about them too.
Or it's D&D. He could have a magic item that just lets him assume dragon form.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking a magic item that lets him assume human form as a dragon.
No, that works as well.
Yeah, I think it's like because then he's like a physical and mental threat. So I don't know that could be cool.
and you don't have to specifically limit it to dragon. You could give him some other kind of alternate form, be it some kind of titan, some kind of demon, something that you feel is going to be a significant enough threat that once the players understand this, it's like, well, this has just changed the entire scope.
Well, the only problem with that is when you go demon, you start to step on the toes if you have any of the like Denarius stuff, like the
That's
really
true.
like
well, you
Marcone,
same thing with the dragon.
Marcone,
there's dragons in the Dresden verse.
Okay, well, I suppose that's true too. I'm just saying, like, when you talk about like the ethos of the character, like Marcone's like dodgy, but he's not like supremely evil. Like he's like evil.
What about? I could definitely see.
Evil. Yeah.
What if you made him like a were-tiger? I think he'd make an excellent were-tiger.
Yeah.
And you could like not reveal it for a long time or whatever, and just hint at things, which is kind of like D&D-izing him a little bit, adding a little something different. Again, it depends on how close to canon you want to go.
And also, too, like, how aware these players are of the Dresden verse. Like, do they have this connection made already? And, like, I mean, it is a little weird to, like, if he's shown to have a bit of power over them, for them to still not sort of respect them. Well, you know what? Maybe have some situations where he saves their asses. Like, that's respect, where, like, they literally, like, like, 1 in, like, 12 sessions where, like, the Deus Ex Machina of like Marcone saves you, now you owe him a favor sort of situation.
Could absolutely do that, and also, or you could also do something like, I could definitely see the scene where the players are laying around in a room or somewhere on the battlefield or somewhere, and they're all like half dead, some of them maybe even unconscious, and it is Marcone that comes to the rescue that saves them with his people, and like before the last conscious player fades to black, the last thing they see is Marcone's
striding toward you.
Well-made shoes kicking them in the face, knocking them unconscious. And then take them prisoner, maybe even maybe they're not respecting them, so they need to be slapped down. Like early on, the DM had an opportunity to due to role-playing situations that came about to murder one of the characters, which happened to be a bard, because the character was a double agent and he got caught. But he chose not to.
Totally ruined it. Yeah.
So that kind of hurts his case a bit. He should have absolutely murdered that bard in the face, and then, and then they would have respect the threat a lot more. Also, speaking to the power level stuff, if you don't want to revoke it, you don't have to, but just freaking stop. If you find yourself in a hole, the best thing.
Stop digging.
Stop digging. The best thing you can do is just stop digging. Stop giving them stuff, and let it catch up. If they got so much gold and whatever, you can create reasons in game for that to happen. Make it Marcone's fault.
Yeah.
Like make him do something where they're doing this stuff running around, and he's just totally cut off all the resources, and they're not getting magic items now. Yeah. They're not getting gold, or things are coming up to bite them in the ass. Maybe the authorities are now going after the players because
they're on the take. Yeah,
because they're on the take, or that he's framing them.
Right. Yeah.
So that there should be something happening, in every session or every other session that is creating complications for the players, and they're unable to instantly resolve it. It's like, okay, well, oh crap, now we got this to worry about too. Oh no, now there's this thing on our plate. How many things do we have to deal with?
Also too, it'd be great, getting back to our red herring sort of video that we did, you have a plot thread that's going on, but that whole thing was a distraction for the thing that Marcone actually accomplished in that span of time. So Kincaid's over here doing this thing that actually didn't really matter to him that much. It was just a diversion for the players, and now he just did this other thing that positions him in a higher sort of, or screws them over, in some way, shape, or form.
There's also the in a sense red herring, but it's different because they're like a false trail, where they go and they deal with something that they assume needs to be done from all the rumors and all the discussion and stories, some evil or some bandits or whatever, but really it's just a trap for them.
Yeah.
So that could be a great lead into the scene where they get captured and get knocked out, or it could also be kind of one of those, I've got you, I've tricked you into coming here. You're not going to live through this unless I allow it. So basically kind of I'm not killing you in lieu of you, getting in place, basically. Because he probably sees them as a resource to be used, right, unless they get too offensive.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the same way that, definitely, Marcone would use Dresden to deal with the paranormal threats that, he wasn't, acquainted
so
with.
It could be simply, I want you to go take care of this situation for me. And, I mean, it could even be something good that the characters would actually do, but basically get them used to being that subservient to him. And then
he could become a patron.
That'll kind of make them think a little differently.
On that note, you could absolutely, he's the quote-unquote quest giver, and the only way to get the quest is by dealing with him. And, in essence, it should gall the players because they're doing something that this guy wants them to do. But at the same time, it's something that absolutely needs to be done, and they would have done it anyway. But, it's one of those things, you want to spite your nose, despite your face, or whatever.
Cut off your nose, cut off your face.
Yeah, that's the saying. Where, now I just don't want to do it because, Marcone wants me to do it.
But it's something not actually kind of good,
but
so
the town's
I should do it.
Yeah, but the city is going to be utterly destroyed if I don't.
Yeah, and Marcone should get some sort of, the Marcone figure should get some sort of advantage out of it. He gets one over the party whilst this happens.
Well, yeah, he could go off and do his own thing while it's occurring, but he could also, let's say it's getting rid of bandits that actually
don't
work for him, so they're competition, and they took food supplies for the town or the area. So people peasants are starving in the area,
or it's
or hungry
a
because
bandit
of this
troop
situation.
that uses undead, and it's run by a cabal of necromancers or something like that.
Depending upon how much they're linking the character, or he's linking the character to Marcone. The crazy thing about Marcone is he actually cares about people. His whole shtick is he wants to make crime civilized. So you want to keep that aspect of it in mind, that he does care about people. He doesn't want it in the streets. But he's still going to profit, and he's still going to elevate himself above everything, and he is never going to get his hands dirty.
And he's ruthless. Well, another thing, like setting up the problem, like you guys said, and making the players take care of it, and then doing it and orchestrating it in such a way that he actually gets the credit for solving the problem.
Yes.
To even further gall the players.
Yes.
Well, because they're agents of his, as far as everyone else will be concerned. In fact, they're doing things like getting rid of other criminals for a criminal element, so it actually looks really bad for them, even though they need to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, you know, up on the stage for the medal or the accommodations ceremony, it's Marcone and the party. Yeah.
No, I would not even have the party involved and not have them get any credit whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, like, you know, something happens too where the
So he's better at PR than the party.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know maybe as they complete this thing that needs to be done, the authorities swoop in and they seize all the things that would have been like
the contraband,
the loot that the players would have gotten.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
And you know, and one of the next meetings they see with Marcone, like some of the more choicier pieces, they're in his possession. Yeah, so he's gonna get the credit. I got your stuff. You did the work.
Yeah.
So
He swooped in.
So recapping, you know, have
Most important, stop giving them stuff.
Yeah.
So they're caught up.
Stop giving them stuff. Don't let them get any kind of, you know, significant gold or treasure until you feel that that their loot is equivalent to their level.
And wrap it into the story and make it Marcone.
You know what you could do too with some of the stuff that they do have, like maybe a business acquaintance of him or a close friend of Marcone's, like an ancestral item of theirs is in the party's possession, and he's going to see that they get it back one way or another, whether that's with coin or by force. I don't know. Like, so just another thing to like sort of depower them a little bit, like an in-game solution.
Give them stuff to spend their money on. Just whether it's good or bad, they spend money on things. You know, like that's something to consider. Maybe there's some kind of cosmic vending machine style thing where you could get boons in exchange for things. Like, so the boon's not as good.
That's not. But it's not really helping depower the party when the problem is they're overpowered.
Yeah. What I'm saying is some kind of exchange system. Not necessarily like, oh, give this to me so I can gain this power, but more probably maybe even get access to a quest for something.
Also,
maybe something more in line with their character rather than just a whole bunch of items that they're...
I kind of wish I knew like the backstory of the party, because like so these high level characters, are they like at all invested in their community or whatever? Have some crisis that they financially could help solve. You know, like oh, if you gave coin, we'd have better city walls, or you know, or taxes and the other responsibilities that you have.
What if Marcone undergoes a political campaign against adventurers, right? And like we need to tax these people, blah blah blah, and they start getting taxed out of the yin yang from the city.
Right. And it's like they're dangerous ruthless criminals. Yeah. So it's just
vigilantes. And back to Ted's wrap up.
Some of them mean well, but
so stop giving them stuff, as these guys are saying. Find some kind of way to give the players a way to spend the vast amount of wealth that they have without getting more magic items or power of any real sense. In order to make Marcone a threat. As we said here, get him to be not only above them station wise, but get them to be able to work for him, be a quest giver, and have his, as Dave said, swoop in at the end and have all his minions get the stuff from the guys, have them put in a position where they're literally beat down, and it's Marcone that's got the ability to come into the rescue, and this sets him up as look, I'm your Lord and Savior, you owe me, do things for have them do things for him that they're gonna do, but it's ultimately gonna benefit him. So he just keeps elevating himself while pushing them down and diminishing their power. Did I miss anything?
I just add one thing, how we were talking about the dragon thing earlier. I would actually just make Marcone like a vanilla mortal.
Because that's what he is. That's part of his charm.
Yeah, so that's part of his charm, is that he has this organization that does all of his effort. And
he would never be like a warlock or something. Never.
No, he wouldn't serve.
No, he doesn't serve other people. but he will totally be able to kill somebody. So he's I would say fighter thief,
or
battle master,
or bard,
assassin,
rogue, or
pretty
sorcerer.
much.
Bard, rogue, or sorcerer.
Nah, I wouldn't
No
do
magic.
spellcasting. He can freaking murder you. You know, like,
Yeah.
and he hides daggers all over the place. So you know,
Champion assassin.
I think battle master because you can
Battle
do a
master?
little, you can
Maneuvers.
control stuff a little more.
He's a
in battle.
master. Yeah, he's done trick shots and stuff in the past.
So he could disarm people, like hit people in the arm, and like, and they drop their weapon, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
maybe
So.
you give him like some epic level boon type of stuff too.
You don't even need to make him that high of a level, but you know, I think assassin and battle master.
Well-
Would be, we should probably just DIs him at some point.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Legitimately do so. Yeah. Full on.
So with that, guys, what do you think? How would you handle it? And remember, these suggestions we're given, these will work for pretty much any campaign where you have the BBEG and or that your players are just not respecting. And here's some ideas to use it. It doesn't have to be Marcone and Dresden specific. Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can follow us over on Instagram.
Or you can come check out Funny Memes on Facebook.
You also check out Nerdarchy at nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.